Q&A. We're here in Ellicott City, Maryland. I think we're in Ellicott City. I don't know where we are. I think we're there. But what's going on? I've come out here because I've got more stuff to do, of course, in the daytime. So how's it going? If you're just joining us for the very first time, this is the Coffee Q&A, the daily dose of coffee Q&A here on the channel. We do this every day, Monday through Friday, most Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern. And so if you have a question about coffee or whatever, let me know. Mom, good morning to you, Ben. How are you doing? So like I said, we're in Ellicott City, and here's Ellicott City Motorsports. I can go get a motorcycle over here. Motorcycles. Oh, look, they have Husqvarna. Oh, they're Husqvarna I didn't know Husqvarna made motorcycles. Learn something new every day. Kent, good morning, or good afternoon where you are. Maku, good morning to you as well. So I'm here in Ellicott City because I thought, well, I have to do work out here, but I'm here because I thought, let's go check out this place called Cafe June. So if you're not familiar with Ellicott City is an area that's very, in my lifetime, it has become heavily Asian populated. Like here in Howard County, the Asian population is over 10%, which is pretty significant. I saw a map recently that showed counties in the United States with over 10% population. I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting. Like this wasn't like this when I was young, but now it's like, wow, there's a lot of Asian people, a lot of Asian stuff going on here. So Cafe June, I think, is owned by a Korean family or something like that. And I actually went there once a few months ago because a friend of mine wanted to meet up there. So I stopped and we had a coffee. It was pleasant. It was pleasant, very modern, modern kind of cafe design, but not like ultra high tech modern, but just kind of modern. And the coffee was pretty decent. Nothing wrong with that. Marco says, I don't see Festool, papap. Here's the thing, sometimes I wear caps, but I don't really like to wear a lot of stuff on my head. Like I'll wear it if I have to, I'll wear like a knit cap, like especially now during the winter. The other day I was wearing that cap, but I can't wear it forever. Like I remember I went to this place, I had the cap with me, and I was like wearing it, but I was in a place also where I really couldn't take it off. I'm not take it off, but I couldn't secure it. So I was like, man, now I'm stuck with this hat. I did put it in my pocket after a while, but I know the guys that they wear hats, caps all day long, all the time, indoors, outside. When they're asleep, they're wearing a cap. When they're with their woman, they're wearing caps. I don't get it. It's too much for me. Too much. Anton, what's going on, Anton? Marcus stands corrected. Peter, how are you? Good to see you. How are things down under? And Devin, how are you, man? Good to see you. All right, so Cafe June, we're here. I kind of had to drive here because, I would have been here earlier. The problem is that there was a big accident there's a big beltway here in Baltimore that goes. I had to take that. There's a huge accident. So I had to take this very surreptitious route through the countryside to get here. So if I had gone through the accident, it would have taken at least an hour. What normally takes half an hour. So it was really pretty crazy. Rufus, good morning to you. And Anton says, I got myself a bretzel for this. So tell us more about this bretzel. One of the things I wish we could do here on these live streams is post pictures. Like if you had a bretzel and you're like, I have a bretzel, I'm going to show you a photo to be like, oh, whoa, that is dangerous. Okay, so Cafe June, there it is, Cafe June. We're walking in. Now they've got a pretty extensive menu. Sandwiches, they have croffle, like a crepe waffle. I don't know what that is. That looks oh, my wallet, darn it. The problem with using the phone is that I don't think I can use my Apple Pay, so I need to make sure I bring my wallet. Because in the wallet I have cash. So yeah, here in Ellicott City, you can see, this whole shopping center is mostly Korean stuff. There is Honey Pig, which is a Korean barbecue place. There's another place called Ugane. I don't know, I think that's Japanese. There's Taekwondo, there's JJ Golf. If you want to buy your Honma golf clubs and spend wild amount of money. Honma is the Festool of golf stuff. and you want to buy like a $1,500 driver, well, I think that's the cheaper one. But if you want that kind of level of quality, you can go there because those guys are hardcore. There's Bengong tea. There's all kinds of stuff. You know, matcha tea joint, matcha ice cream joint. There's more ice cream here, soft stuff ice cream, Jiangsu, Korean oxbone soup, which I had in Seoul at the at that COEX Center. Man, there's a place there that had the bone ox soup. Dude, so good. So clean, so beautiful, beautiful stuff. Okay. Had a good trip. It was pretty good. It was pretty good so far. Rufus wants to know, oh my. Well, I am Asian. All right, here we go. Cafe June. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, we're inside. So here it is. Okay, we're gonna figure out what we want. Lucia says, I live 5 minutes from here, so I presume you've been here. If you've been here, oh, you guys go ahead. Hey, what's good? Your first time here, or?
We got some coffees and croffle last time. Croffle was really good.
What is the croffle?
It's like a croissant waffle. I think.
Oh,
yeah,
it's really good?
It was really good, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, some really good varieties, right?
Yeah, sorry. I'm just a bunch of friends online, that's all.
And then we got like the caramel macchiato. That was really good too.
Oh.
And the affogato.
And that's right. Oh,
It's a
okay.
little early for that.
All right, great, thank you. If you want to go ahead, you can.
We're still trying
Oh, you're trying to, okay. Maybe we should do this croffle. Croffle. Ooh, $8. Hello. If I was to have a croffle, what coffee should I have with it?
Do you like sweet coffee or just like?
If you were to have it, what would you have with it?
Well, I just like a regular oat latte or oat milk latte. But also I coffee lattes work really well with the coffee.
Which one, sorry?
The espresso cream lattes, and they have like sweet cream and like cocoa powder, so that they complement the.
Okay, I'll have that.
Ice drink only. Is that okay?
No, I'd rather have something hot.
Hot. Cafe mocha is pretty good, or the caramel macchiato.
That's not too sweet with the croffle?
You can always like make it half sweet. I personally make it half sweet because I think it's a little bit sweet on my
Okay, I'll try that.
Which one?
What would you have? What would you
The
think?
cafe mocha.
Okay, sounds good.
Half sweet.
Yes, that'd be great. Yes. For here. Yeah, here.
Mocha to be in a 12 per mug.
How about a mug? We're gonna have it for here, might as well go all the way, right?
1471 can be your total cost you 2% screen here.
Do you have cash? Yeah.
Thank you.
I prefer cash. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks. I got one of the croffles. So yeah, all right. Okay, so now we are here. I'm going to sit at the bar, which is by the front window. But as you can see here over my shoulder, it's a fairly nice looking shop. They have a kind of motify thing with records. Maybe the owner is like a big musician or something. They have records on the wall. I think they're selling records, LPs. Oh, Musa says he loves Cafe June. Oh, and there is a Mr. June. Okay, good. I didn't know that. It's such a nice guy. The quinoa oat waffle is great. Oh, I got the croffle. I hope that's all right. Hope that'll turn out well. So the one time that I was here, I sat here also, and we had a nice time. I think my friend got some kind of, what did she get? She got I don't know what she got. I'm a little bit concerned about that, about what I ordered. The croffle, so the croffle.
And I was like, you know what, it's fine, it's Miles. He probably heard it. It was probably reversing it.
So evidently the croissant is some kind of croissant waffle with gelato, blueberries, and organic maple syrup, which should be nicely sweet. But so I was like, so remember I was saying that like my idea of going to a cafe is to ask the barista what they would like. I did kind of draw the line at that. Well, actually I didn't draw the line at that. I didn't really want an iced drink, so she was like, "There's this thing." Everything what she recommended was this kind of oat milk based drink. Sounded fairly good, but it's iced. And I was like, I don't want to ice with this croissant thing. I want something hot. And my tendency would be to go with just some kind of black coffee to like balance and offset the sweetness of the croissant, or what I expect to be the sweetness of the croissant. So I don't really want to go for. Her second recommendation was to go with the mocha because I didn't want cold, so I wanted hot, and so mocha. And she was like, "Well," that's why. And I was also like, "I want something that's going to bounce out." That's why I said to her about, "Is it too sweet?" And she was like, "Well, you can get it half sweet." And she said, "I get it half sweet." I was like, "Okay, let's try that." Hopefully that will be a good choice. Hopefully. Marco says, and a sweet coffee on top of that. I know. I'm kind of like... Okay, but here's the thing. I feel uncomfortable with the order. Comfortable with the croissant. Uncomfortable with a potentially very sweet mocha to go on top of the waffle, which seems like just a bit overkill. But, like I said, the whole thing about going out and trying things is to try things outside of your comfort zone, outside of what you would normally order if you were left to your own devices. And that's kind of what I went for. I probably should have gone with her original recommendation with the iced beverage, but that was too far. Lucy says, prior to COVID, that was the location of Korean-based coffee called Cafe. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's very pretty. Thank you. Well done. Oh, look at this. You've never seen me make a latte art like this. Because I don't think I can make it that way. Look at that. Huh? That's very well done. Very nice balance. Like good contrast, nice, clean, like texture of the milk. Very, very nice. I mean, it's, so what is the deal with the croissant?
Huh?
What's the deal? What's the reasoning?
Oh, well, what's the special thing about it? So, like, well, it's a crispy croissant that's a waffled, and then with maple syrup, and then the gelato on top. I don't know, like...
Do you guys make all this, the batter in the house, too?
Uh-huh.
Oh, awesome. All right, thanks. So there is our croissant, and the nice thing that I'm kind of happy about is that I didn't have to wait. Like, it came pretty much together. Like, she probably didn't want to carry them both together because remember we talked about this the other day with the latte. Like, it could be jiggly and you don't want it to spill, so you have to give your full attention. So fantastic. We have both. All right, so let's go. Yeah, so very well centered. Very well centered. Like, this is very nicely done. I think they're using, it looks like on the shelf that they have something called Girardelli, the San Francisco-based chocolate. So nice bitterness to it, not overtly sweet, which is really nice. That's actually it's actually more bitter than sweet, which I think is a very big plus. Anton says, man, I spilled so much coffee lately, so here's a look at here. So there is gelato. This is probably not a good idea for breakfast. We're going to try the different components.
It's actually worse for him. And this has to be criticized on the NDA. He's like, the way the NDA is written is actually better for than what this does.
All right. So now I realized that they said that it's a croissant waffle. When it arrived, like if you look at this, right? if you look at this waffle, it very much looks like a kind of Liège waffle, the Belgian style waffle. So when it actually, when I saw it, and she was like telling me that it's a croissant waffle, and I was kind of thinking, it looks more like Liège waffle rather than croissant waffle. So I was expecting, oh, are they just calling it that? Is it just, it's just a marketing hype term? And I was expecting a little bit more bready of an experience, but as I cut into it, as I took that first bite, oh yeah, it truly is laminated dough, crisp, crunchy, chewy, airy, light. Oh, actually that's quite nice. Cafe Bene. So this is, I was wondering what Cafe Bene used to be. I remember Cafe Bene. All right, now what we're going to take a whole bite with all the components. The waffle, a couple blueberries, and this, and the gelato. Oh gosh. And then all right, that's good. That's good. That's good. Anton says my LeBrew 78mm burst actually came yesterday at our. I love the fact that you put it in there. Oh, Busa, thank you very much, man. Thank you so much. That's very kind. Man, that is good. And I only had time to try one filter brew, so it was good. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, my complaint at the moment is, look at this. This is the problem. This is the problem. My complaint right now is that, look at that. It's too small. I know this is an Asian market or cafe shop, right? I know we're all about you know, moderation and nothing too crazy. But this is. I think I would be all right if we had American supersize me for this. That's damn good. Busa says Mr. June uses a Guji roast for the pullover. Oh man. So do you know, Busa, does he roast the coffee here? I mean, I have to say, for a suburban cafe, from what I've seen, the images that in my previous visit here, the coffee has been very nice. This is actually very well done. Like, this is way better. This coffee, the mocha, way better than I was expecting. Way better. Way better. Especially for the scenario and that we're in, you know, this suburban kind of like coffee shop that like caters to the masses.
Yeah, so he told us like on a call with other coaches, and I was like, oh my god, can I text back right now? Because like,
oh, he does not roast. Okay.
Doesn't know it's like outside of the job, but I do.
Marco says, I think this is the most successful new cafe visit I've seen you make recently. Ah, well, I mean, I guess certainly I will concur that the cafes we've been to in the area, the physical cafe, this is definitely one of the more superior of them all. But I don't know if I would say necessarily you want to make a special journey here. Although the croissant waffle is quite compelling. And I'm not disappointed with the drink. Like, I'm not very, very pleasantly pleased.
So I do feel like spicy grapes sours or something like this.
Like when you go to places that are like this kind of suburban cafe, you expect compromise.
They used to be so much more. They used to own mixed tickets together.
I'm not saying that this is the same level of precious level of coffee that you see in, people blab about on the internet, but this is very good.
Like just in the last probably
And I was really concerned about the mocha because of the Ghirardelli chocolate. So I don't really, even though I grew up in a world where we always loved Ghirardelli, in my latter life, where I've been in food, Ghirardelli's just been rather common about the chocolate. But this is well done. I mean, it's well done. I think you can come to a place like this place, and have a wonderful experience. Nicely done coffee, and you won't be disappointed. You won't be like, yeah, I don't think so. Bush says, at one time, I believe he was using a roaster down in Rockville called Pet Roastery, but I don't think around anymore the last time I checked. Oh. Very nice. Very good. I'm very impressed. Now, when I first started learning about especially coffees like Starbucks back in 1996. My first Starbucks experience was in New York City. I was with some friends. They're in a band called PIC, and we were hanging out in the city, and they were like, "Hey man, let's go to Starbucks." I was like, "What's this Starbucks?" Like, it's the new thing. I was like, "All right." And I went there for the first time, and I had a mocha. And so I've always liked, and I like chocolate, so it's like, I like chocolate, I don't like coffee, so it was a good introduction. So, I mean, I'm finished. All gone. Still good. Totally, I'm enjoying it. Like, sometimes at least for me, sometimes I'll have a drink. And I don't really want to finish it because, I've had enough coffee, or I'm just kind of like, eh. And this also goes for the coffee that I make. Sometimes I'm just like, sometimes 12-ounce coffee is just too much. It's like, I don't feel like drinking anymore. Like, I'll drink maybe 8 ounces of it. I'm like, This one, but I love chocolate, so this, I'm going to go all the way with this one. Busa says, Mr. June told me he has been working in coffee for 30 years. If he's there, he'd love to talk with you. Greets me every time. I don't think he's here. I think you probably would have noticed some weird dude with carrying a phone talking to it, sitting in this cafe if he was here. And I think I have met him. Just like, I think the one time that we were here, I think he was here and he was saying hello to people. Which is very nice. You like that when you see someone that's really involved with their business. And staff was very nice. I mean, they have a lot of things here that you would think to be red flags, right? Like, as I look here, they have pistachio latte. They have a veggie platter. They have a peanut butter chia powder smoothie. Acai berry smoothie bowl. Like, these are things, when I see them in a coffee place, I'm just like, these people could not be serious about coffee. Like, they would not have good coffee. They would have, like, probably the worst coffee. right? Because they got all this other stuff going on. But then again, here, like on this board, right? You kind of see it. So peanut butter chia smoothie, croffle, pistachio latte, veggie platter, and then the weird one. This black-looking thing is actually affogato. I don't think I normally see the idea of affogato in a typical like acai smoothie bowl suburban cafe. So it kind of gives you the hint that, okay, we've got all this cliched stuff, but then, oh, here's something that kind of gives us the indication that maybe they're doing something else. And then you go to the place, and then what? Do we ever see, well, it's gone now, but do we ever see latte art like this? Not typically. And so you gotta go to town. I hear you, man. I totally hear you.
Or like maybe 2,000 increase in cost of living.
These are all the things that people love, and you know, I respect that. I totally respect it. I mean, here's the thing: I'm not against doing all those things, but I think that if you're going to do them, you should do them well. And croissant waffle sounds kind of gimmicky, but man, well executed, very well executed. Like, I see them. I mean, just looking at the waffle, right? And I can't show you anymore because it's all gone. But so they're using a proper waffle iron. I can't see it there. And then if we look here at the baristas, right? You can't really see it too well, but there are a bunch of Mazda grinders. You kind of see them right here. Mazda grinders. There's a La Marzocco. It looks like the new. What is it? That's the new the Piero version of the Linea. So modern equipment, good quality, Fetco batch brewers. Oh, they're using Kova, Busa. I can see the bags. They're using Kova coffee. Oh yeah, there's the Gucci you're talking about. Gucci. So there's the Gucci. All right. So very nicely done. They got good quality equipment. Right. Anton says need to serve the occasional Avenica. All right there, Hermione Granger. I guess I'll return these to the girls. Be back in a moment. All right, let's go. Let's hit it. So nice setup here. Marcus asking, how do you rank plain cappuccino, your preference of coffee drinks? Ooh, I think cappuccino is a very, so how do I rank it? That's a good question. I think it's fairly high. So evidently I have a reputation amongst baristas in Baltimore that, because when you come to apply to me and you have experience and you indicate on your resume, because how we do it is like, a lot of people are used to like, they come in, they're like, do you have an application? I said, we don't have applications. We have just to give us your resume and a cover letter. And actually, whenever we put out notices for hiring, it always says, please include your application, and please include your resume and a cover letter. And we never did applications because mainly, in the Spro's era, we never did applications because you know what? It's like, I don't have time to print out, we used to make our own applications, right, and print them out. And I was like, I don't have time to do all that. If you really want to work here and you're interested, then you make a resume and tell me what you do. And I don't really care what's on your resume, like what kind of experience you have. If you have experience, great. If you don't, perfect. But I just want to see, it's more about initiative, right? Like anybody can walk around a neighborhood, walk into all the stores and fill out applications. because that's not very thoughtful. And so we would have them we would always tell them to send us your resume. And so they would send a resume in. And if they came in their resume and we brought them in for interview, and the interview process is always like super long. Like we're very painful in our interview process. Mainly because we wanted to communicate. Well, we want to really screen the people that we're hiring, trying to figure out who they are, what they're about. Will they fit in, right? That's the important thing. Will they fit in with our culture, with the other baristas that are here? I have had times in the past where I've made a mistake in hiring. Like I remember one time in my Shave Ice era, I had a very solid team, mostly girls, right? They were very solid. And I brought this one guy in. I didn't vet him as well as I probably should have. I brought him in, and this guy was just a hot dogger. Like he'd been on the job for like maybe a week, and he's trying to tell the girls how to do their job. He's trying to be the hot dogger, and he doesn't have the technique yet. It's like, and the girls are getting upset, like they're getting mad, right? And I remember I was sitting at a cigar shop, my friend's cigar shop at the time, and I was like, I gotta get rid of this guy. The first guy I ever fired. And I was at the cigar shop in the middle of the afternoon only because I didn't want to do it, because it's such an ugly thing to do, to fire someone. So I sat there, I'm smoking my cigar, and I'm thinking, man, I really don't want to do that. But I kept thinking, I don't want to, it's an unpleasant thing, right? It's my first one, so it was the hardest one. But I was also thinking, you know what? The choice comes between, not doing anything, being, not proactive on it, allowing this guy to just continue on, pissing off my best people, and then they leave, and I'm stuck with this guy. And I was like, that's untenable. Like that would cause me much more problems and become much more difficult to recover later. Finished my cigar, drove to the shop, told him, hey man, you gotta go. Done. It was, for me personally, it was really difficult because it was the first time I did it. And like, it was so, you don't really like to fire people, but man, it just realized there was no other choice. So we're really tough in hiring. Like it's a long process. You have to send in your resume, and we have to vet your resume. And then we ask you we probably bring you in for like 2 interviews typically. So first time you come in, you interview with me, and I've got a battery of questions that I'm asking. Basically, I have these like maybe 10, 11 questions that I've already written out. And I hand you the paper, and I'm just like, hey, this is, not for you to write down the answers, but just to talk to me. And then I'll ask questions as we go through the different questions and add to it or whatever. And then eventually you'll go, if that does well, then you'll move on and interview with one of our staff till they get a feel. But then also, here's the thing where the idea of cappuccinos came about is that if you have previous experience, if you don't have experience, I won't ask you to do this. But if you have previous experience, I always ask the candidate, well, let's go upstairs. Can you, and if I like them, right? You do this kind of thing because basically you want to figure out, like, is this person going to work? And then sometimes there's a point where you realize that this person is probably not the right fit, or we're not the right fit for that person. So you just can end it quickly. But if we go through all that and then it's like, hey, well, let's go up and talk about machines, right? So we go upstairs, we'll go to the bar, and it's like, hey, I'd like you to make me a cappuccino. And I tell them, I'd like you to make a cappuccino in the way that you know how to make it. And I'll show them how to, if they're not too familiar with the machine, we'll show them how to control it and all of that. Here's the pitchers, here's the milk, here's the coffee, here's the grinders, here's everything you need. And as I tell them, there's no right or wrong, right? There's no right or wrong to making the cappuccino. I mean, if you're hired, there is a right or wrong. But at the moment, during the process, there is no right or wrong. It's however you know how to do it. And I just asked them to make me a cappuccino. And I know that, of course, there's a big intimidation factor, and people feel like they're being judged. And to a certain extent, they are. But not really. Like, I'm not really judging you as a barista on your ability to make cappuccino in this moment. What I really want to know is, like, make me a cappuccino so that I can see what you do, what your skills are at the moment. Where are you in your journey? Because my job will be to, if we end up hiring you, is to bring you to speed to what we do. And so, however they make it, and, and some of them came from Starbucks, and they make the cappuccino in the same way Starbucks does. And some of them, of course, coming from Starbucks, they have super auto, so they don't necessarily know how to use the machine that we have in the most efficient way. So, but what it does, it tells me like where they are in their journey and what we will need to focus on to bring them up to our speed, right? If should we hire them, like, okay, this is what they need to work. We need to work with them on. Maybe they have their steaming technique really well. Maybe they need to like work on shot making or understanding the machine, things like that. So it's a very fluid process. But back to the question about where does cappuccino fit? I think it fits fairly high because why cappuccino? Why is that the standard that I'm using? Because cappuccino to me is a very specific type of drink, right? In my psychosis, cappuccino is one drink. There is nothing else other than this one drink, and that is a 6-ounce beverage in a particular style of cup. It can be tulip shaped, it can be bowl shaped, but it's always 6 ounce and it's always rule of thirds, right? I want to see nice thick crema so that when you put the demi-tasse spoon in and you push it away from you, you don't see any liquid underneath. Like if you see liquid underneath, it's too thin. But there is too thick, so you got to have that right balance, right? The rule of thirds. So two ounces of foam, 2 ounces of cream, 2 of milk, 2 ounces of espresso, more or less. And then it has to have nice texture. It has to be well balanced. I think in many respects, cappuccino is a very difficult drink to make because you really have to have everything together. Like the today's mocha that we saw, if we looked at it from a perspective of as it being a cappuccino, now first of all, it's too big. It's a latte size, so that's fine. Texture of the milk, very nice. Thickness of the milk. For the mocha size, perfectly fine. Though when if I sipped it, I could see the crema, the foam is really thin. But contextually within a drink of that size, that's expected. That's normal. That's not. But for cappuccino, it should have just the right. And so, and then you have to have that really great balance between the sweet milk. And so hopefully the barista knows how to steam the milk so that they steam the milk and increases the sweetness of the milk through the heating process. And now you've got great bitterness with the sweetness and it's all in balance and you've got a little bit of foam. I think cappuccino is arguably one of the most difficult drinks to make. To get it just right. And if you get it just right, it's a wonderful experience. Now, I could go to cafes and be like, I would like a cappuccino. To see, as though I wanted to see how good they are, right? But that's not, the purpose of me going to cafes is not necessarily to like, send me the best of your dojo, right? That's not my interest. I'm just like, I just want to experience something new, something fresh. And like this, in retrospect now, I probably should have gotten that oat milk iced drink because it's about being introduced to things outside of your spectrum. And I think that's why I like to go to shops. And that's why I like doing this on this show because here, if I'm on the show, it does force me to like be a little bit more thorough because you're watching, like you're like, okay, like, well, like if I'm all alone, like I could easily be like, no, I'm not going to have that. I'm just going to have what I like, right? So, yeah. Peter says that cafe is not, I'm sure it sounds rather noisy on the live stream. In person, it doesn't feel noisy. It doesn't seem, or let's put it this way, it doesn't seem too noisy or out of context with the level of noise. Like if you look at that video that I went to in Cebu, there's a place there called Tightrope Coffee that I went to. And it's one of those like really like high concept looking places. The coffee and the service was really great. They had Tim Wendelbo's coffee. They had really beautiful like Basque cheesecake that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed everything about it, except this high concept, all concrete cafe was just so, like that was loud. I was like, gosh, man, I couldn't work here because it would be like, it's just too much noise. Like, but then again, It was a lot, but like I like to work in a silent environment. Like if you came to Spro, there's no music. Like there's no music, everything's quiet. Like the loudest thing is the refrigerator. I really like that, like the sense of focus. So cappuccino, I think if you really want to, see what a barista, what the true skills of a barista, and their true knowledge of coffee, have them make a cappuccino. And I think that will show you how hard. Oh, Maku, that's very kind of you. Still, yeah, you think so? All right. Let's go back. I'll go back and get it. Since you're so kind, and then we can go back and see whether or not it's really noisy. Okay, we're gonna go back in. I'm gonna try this. This is a first to go back to a cafe. You're gonna be wondering, why is this guy holding his phone? Aren't you too old to be doing live streams there, Grandpa? It's like, hey man, I still have my hair color. It's normally green. Oh, one more time.
She showed up and she's had an adult car.
I can't remember the girl that originally told me to order that though. I wonder if I'll get her again. Hi. Hey, the other girl, when I first ordered my crow waffle, thank you, sorry, was telling me about a drink that had that she recommended to have it with ice. Oh, what was the drink you said that was iced? I'll try that now, please.
You want a small or large?
Small. To go, please. All right, very nice. 7:30. So what is this called again?
Espresso cream latte.
Is it good? What is it?
So it's for a small, it's a pump with hazelnut, milk, ice, sweet cream on top, cocoa powder, and espresso. It kind of tastes like a melted coffee ice cream.
Is it good? Do you like it?
I don't like sweet
Oh, I'm gonna
drinks.
take it to go, right? To go.
Yes.
Okay. You don't like it?
I don't like sweet drinks at all. I usually just drink tea. But it is one
She
of our
doesn't
most-
like it.
I mean, all of our customers love it.
Yeah.
okay.
I don't like
Like people like come here for it.
Oh, okay. So you're like the hardcore coffee person?
I don't like coffee.
Oh, you don't like coffee? Okay, very good. Very good.
So my opinions don't really hold any weight.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, she doesn't like coffee. She's actually my kind of barista. I don't like coffee either. We will wait. As you can see, there is. Oh, these are just pictures of. These are albums. Some great ones: Saturday Night Fever, Jackson, Rod Stewart, Queen, West Side Story. That's one of the greatest. Oh, that's the movie. That's the Laserdisc. Very nice. Very nice. Yes. All right, we're going to try this espresso cream latte on ice, something like that. Probably. Like, look at this. Look at what they have here. They have grilled chicken, caprese. Look at this nice stuff here. Oh, there's my ready. Ah, thank you. All right. Okay, now here we go. We've got our drink. Okay. Looks interesting. Actually, I don't know if it visually looks very appealing. I don't know. I tend to like it when they're separated like this, so it kind of gives that kind of droopy look, but the powder on top, I don't know if that looks terribly appetizing. Plus, so here's some concerns that I would have. Like, I think about it, like there's a bunch of cocoa powder on top. Does that mean that it's going to be overtly bitter and dry on the first sip? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Okay, let me get situated. You guys are a bad influence. This is a bad influence. All right, so here it is. That one says it says diabetes. Monkey says it's very Starbucksy. I hope it's good. All right, look at that. Okay. Looks interesting. So evidently it's quite popular. People come here just for this, which may not necessarily be a good thing. People get caramel macchiato. I can't hit on caramel macchiato. So it's not too bad with the, as far as the powder, the concern that I had about the powder. Sweet cream, it's sweet cream. As I'm sipping it here, like they use a half crescent ice cubes, which means that they're flat on one side and then curved on the other. And as I'm sipping right here, this is not something that probably matters to most people. It is, it's kind of catching onto the top of my lip, so it's kind of restricting the flow so you don't get quite the mix. Now, another thing I'm kind of quick questioning, like, they have these lids, right? These are sippy lids. Real popular now. I like them. But the question is, if I use the sippy lid, and as you can see that it's not homogenized, right? It's not really homogenized. It's kind of layered. And that's an effect that you're trying to go for. I like the look of that. But since it's not homogenized, you're going to get a different experience. So let's say if I grab this straw and I go now into it, I'm going to expect that it's going to give me a different flavor experience. Yeah, different. Because wherever this straw ended up, like here in the middle of it, it's a bit more mixed. So the experience, and it's a bit sweeter, it's a bit heavier. It's good. I'm glad though that now that I'm having this, I'm glad that I kind of pushed back on this drink earlier and ended up with the mocha, the lower sweetener mocha, because while there's nice character to this, right? The powdered, cocoa powder is nice. The sweet cream is nice. It's nice and thick. It's got this good viscosity. It's got nice sweetness. It is a sweet drink. It's a sweet drink. It's a sweet, chocolatey drink. The coffee is kind of like somewhere in there. And like she said, this is very popular. I can totally understand why this is a very popular drink that people come to, because This is the sweet, milky kind of drink that most people will love. But if you're looking for a really interesting coffee experience, this is not the way to go. Like, this is not... It's not great. It's not good. I mean, it's good, but it's nothing remarkable. The croffle, solid, remarkable. You know, worth that. That's really good. Paired up with that mocha that we had, the lighter sweetness mocha, good amount of bitterness, not very sweet. That was a nice. If I'd had this, I would be much more. Had I had this first, we would not have had a second drink. This is what you expect. It's a nice thing, but it is more along the lines of what you find in it, what you would think in a suburban coffee shop, serving a suburban clientele. Anton says it looks like liquid tea. And good point. That is pretty much the look. I totally didn't think about that, but you're totally right. It totally is the look. And maybe that's the flavor they're going for, but there's not enough. Yeah, there's not enough coffee. The balance is it's too. And perhaps because it's also like layered, and maybe the coffee's down lower. So that's the thing. Like you have a drink that you're making, and you're making it layered because you like that dramatic kind of look, which I definitely laud that kind of thing. I like the idea that they're trying things like that, right? But the problem is that because it's not homogenized, you're not having necessarily a cohesive experience. And I don't think things have to have a cohesive experience. Like in those Kanekano stuff that we've been doing, you know, when they are layered and you get those kind of like that mixture of hot and cold or something, it can be very dynamic. It's just not that here. But if I wanted like sweet, milky iced mocha, or iced, it's really more like iced chocolate drink, this would be great. Like, I can totally see how a lot of their clientele will come here and they'll be like, this is awesome. Like, this is great. This is the badass drink of the bone, right? Totally can see that. And for those people, this is awesome. This will be amazing. Like, if you're looking for like sweet, milky chocolate drink that has some coffee in it somewhere, this will be the one. Thank God I got the small one, because gosh, I would be like I would be in misery having the big one. So, yeah, there it is. That was our visit here to Cafe June. Booster says, unfortunately, the kids don't really enjoy real coffee drinks anymore. They want these super sweet coffee beans. And I totally get that. I totally accept that. And I think that this drink fits that bill perfectly. Perfectly. Like, but for us here, the coffee snobs of the world, where this is not the money. This is not the money. The mocha was really great. Like, I like that. The low sweetness mocha. I thought that was really great. The croffle totally delivered. Like, it was like, oh, this is some like nice, truly, you know, laminated dough in my waffle. Like, that is a good idea. And good and well and very well executed. So I can't, there's no complaints. I'm just like, you know, this is just, I'm starting to feel like maybe I'm getting a little bit of sugar rush here in the top of my eyebrows. Gosh. Mo says, what's going on, man? Sounds like I'd rather have some good dark black goat juice and an old-fashioned chocolate glazed dough. You know, I think that's I like that idea much. I really like that idea. And that's kind of what I was leaning towards when I was ordering the croffle. Like I almost was going to override what she was offering and say, hey, let's just go with the black coffee. But I fought that urge and I didn't. And I got to say, I was very pleasantly surprised and enjoyed the lightly sweet mocha. I thought that was a really great pairing. Like it went very well. And again, it's like one of those things where I'm trying to fight. I'm always trying to fight my preconceived notions, right? Like I have preconceived notions. Like I have things that I will think that, oh, that must be rubbish. I should never try that because that is beneath me, right? Got to break from that. Got to break away from that and not fall into that trap, because I think you can be pleasantly surprised and opened to new and wonderful things. Like I would never have ordered the mocha normally, right? Like if it was just left to, if I wasn't here talking to you now and I wasn't trying to do whatever, I probably would have ordered the croffle and then I would have got black coffee. I would never have had the opportunity to try. I would never have allowed myself the opportunity to try the mocha, and that was good. And then, had you not pushed for let's go back and try this drink, I never would have tried this. Now I know that it just reinforced that I don't really like this kind of drink, but I can also recognize that there is quality to the making of the ingredients and the way that it comes together. And I think the way that it comes together, it fulfills the mission that they're intending for it to be something that a lot of people in their market will love. Like this is definitely, I can totally see that this is something that they sell a lot of. Thick, crumbly, sugar glaze, cake donut. Oh, cake donut. I'm not a big fan, though. I gotta be honest, I'm not a big fan of chocolate covered or chocolate cake donuts, right? For me, cake donut, I like cake donuts in two very specific situations. Blueberry cake with a little bit of glaze, and then the very commercial, powdered cake donuts. Like the little tiny ones, the little donuts. Give me that and a glass of milk and I will pound that bag. So terrible. Jeremiah Touchstone says, "Go coffee, go juice is coffee." Yeah, that's what I am presuming that MO means. Peter, yeah, Busa says, "I can only tolerate those type of drinks maybe a few times a year at the most. I'd rather get a sugar drink from Bengong's Tea in the same plaza." Oh, that Bengong tea looked pretty good. No, I'm with you on that. Only a couple times. Only a couple times. Sometimes when I want the sugary drink, I will go to what is it called? There's a place called Tiger Sugar. This one girl, she turned me on to this a few years back. She was like, go to Tiger Sugar and get the brown sugar boba with the cheese foam. Oh, so good. So decadent. I love the cheese foam. Basically, if you think of it, cream cheese whipped with heavy cream into a cream. Oh my gosh. I used that in one of my signature drinks for a competition a couple of years back as a sea foam, cheesy, salty sea foam on this, I think I showed it on one of the live streams on a oyster espresso, right? So espresso in a white chocolate oyster with with one Amarena cherry as the pearl, and a little bit of the Amarena cherry juice, and a little bit of cherry bitters. Woo! So good, so good. That's a drink I had been thinking about for 10 years. Marco says, I'm glad you got to try their latte. A good balanced latte. And while I'm reading your thing, I'm going to crash into this tundra. It's well done with art is usually a good sign of a quality cafe. And I think even though it's not to my necessary wheelhouse, I think this is a good quality drink for what it is, for the intended purpose, right? I think that's very good. MO says that they issue students and certain professionals go pills, basically medical grade, doctored, ordered amphetamines. Old school nurses and single space types just drink coffee. Go Go, June. I get you. I got you, my man. I figured it out. Boo says, yeah, Tiger Sugar's right down the street. Love it. Yeah, the one that I was actually at the Jollibee fast food joint, and I was asking the cashier girl, I was like, hey, where can I get some boba? And she's like, go to this place and have this. And I was like, what? I never even heard of this brown sugar, whatever, concoction. I was like, all right. But again, I'm like, I'll try it. And I was rewarded. I can only do that a couple times because it's as sweet as this. Emma says the papers, until Harry Potter became popular, used to be written with single-spaced sentences. A paper was a paper, not for propaganda. Literally, Harry Potter changed all that. Harry Potter made it double-spaced? Yeah, we have a Jollibee. Here in Maryland, there's only one. There's one. From where I live, it's a good hour and 20 minutes. From where I am now, it's probably about 40 minutes. And then there's one here. There's also one on the other side of Washington, D.C. in Northern Virginia. And then I think the next after that, I think the next one is either going to be in New Jersey, Northern New Jersey, if they have one in Northern New Jersey. Definitely have some in New York City. And then otherwise, you have to go all the way down to Virginia Beach to get to Jollibee. I like Jollibee. I remember a few years back, I was in Manila, and I had some judges who came in from Singapore. And one of the first things they said to me was, like, hey, can we go get some Jollibee? And I was like, what? He's like, Jollibee, like, we want to see if the Jollibee in Manila is better than the Jollibee in Singapore. And I was like, you came all this way and you want to eat Jollibee? I was like, I don't get it. Because when I was younger, right, we'd go to Jollibee, but Jollibee for me, was no big deal. Like, and actually, I didn't really like it. The chicken was okay. But the burgers were kind of sweet, and I was like, I'm from America. We have burgers. Like, they don't have burgers there. What is that burger, right? So, I was never really big on Jollibee until these guys came up and they're like, let's go. So we went, and I had the chicken, and it was good. I was like, oh, this is good. So that trip, I was going home, and they were like, oh yeah, it's better here than in Singapore. I was like, oh, all right. I was coming back, and I stopped in LA on the way in. And I was hanging out with my cousin. I was like, hey, man, let's go get some Jollibee. I want to check out the difference between American Jollibee and the Philippine Jollibee. So we went, had the chicken. And actually, yeah, man, the Jollibee in Manila was way better. The chicken was better. The chicken joy was better than the one in LA. Now, of course, we're so far away from it. You just go and you can and you get it. And I like it because it's relatively not too expensive. And it's very walk in, order. It takes a little while. But if you wanted to go have Filipino food and like you sat down, you got to order and pay all this money and then forget it. Yes, Jollibee and Wheaton. Exactly. Jeremiah says we recently got a Jollibee in Sterling Heights, Michigan. Ooh, nice. They're going all over the place. Are they also crazy down there or up there in Michigan? Peter says Jollibee in Vietnam sucks. Oh, that sucks. Maybe they just don't like it. And maybe they just don't. Why are you going to Jollibee in Vietnam? That's crazy. If I was in Vietnam, I think I'd be trying all the buns. Like I'd finally get. Here's my problem, right? Like I never think of Vietnamese food until I think about pho, right? Then I'm like, I'm going to get some pho, and then I go. And until not too long ago, it was pretty far. Like we had to drive. Like we had to go to Colombia to go for pho. Now there's pho a lot of places, but before. So, you wait and then you go and it was a far drive and you go for pho, I want some pho. And then you look at the menu like, oh, there's bun. And I was like, oh. And I kind of like the idea of, and if you're not familiar with bun is basically kind of the same the same noodle as they use in pho, but there's no soup. So it's just the noodle with a bunch of vegetables and the protein. And they have this sweet fish sauce concoction that they mix with the peanuts and all this. And you just mix it and eat it. And I really like it. But I never think about it. I only think of pho, and then I go, and it's like, oh, I'm here for the pho, and I've been craving pho, so that's why I'm here. But I want to eat the bun, and then if I get the bun, because instead of the pho, then I'll be disappointed because I went there for the pho. And then I would have to come back again, and it takes forever to get back, and yeah. So I need to, and even to today, I never think about, oh, I need to go get some bun. I don't know. Jeremiah says that I was honestly disappointed. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. The problem with it, and I get it, because sometimes the problem is you hear all this hype about something, like, oh, it's the greatest chicken ever. And then you're like, it's just chicken. Like, the question is, would I prefer Jollibee over Popeyes? I don't know. I grew up eating Popeyes, so I think Popeyes might win out. I went to Bojangles because they had one in Winchester, Virginia over the weekend. And I was like, ooh, Bojangles. I haven't been to Bojangles in many, many years. Let me go check out Bojangles. It's good. It's good. Sharper, a little more black pepper. I still prefer, and, kudos to Bojangles for still having dirty rice. Like, that is, I was very happy with that. But you know what? The chicken, I prefer Popeyes. And pox on Popeyes for getting rid of the dirty rice. Like, you could have got rid of the red beans and rice, but the dirty rice, I don't get it. I don't get why you get rid of your signature drink. I guess that's probably the worst selling of them all, right? But anyway. Peter says, you guys got everything in the U.S. Yeah, that's because we're making America great again, right? So you got to have everything here. What don't we have, though? We don't have a lot of stuff, man. We don't have a lot of stuff. Like, we don't have the small hand planer from Festool. They don't send that here. They don't send us a lot of stuff in America. We don't have the Cis Air from Festool. That's terrible. So I don't know. America sucks. Jeremiah says, yeah, they were overhyped and had a line all the way out the highway. Yeah, I will not wait in line for Jollibee. Like, I see those guys, like, I won't wait in line for almost anything. Like, that just, like, those guys that wait in line for Chick-fil-A, like, I won't wait in line for Chick-fil-A. That's crazy. The guys waiting in line for Jollibee, like, no. I will wait for, like, I will wait another year than have to wait in line to go into, like we went to and I think I might have mentioned this last week, but, like, I took my nieces, we went for my niece's birthday. She's just turning 27. She's kind of old now, but she's turning 27. So we went out for her birthday. We went to this place called Frank's Pizza here in Baltimore. Frank's Pizza, it's a great pizza joint. We've been going there for quite a long time. Always solid. The crust is beautiful. But Dave Portnoy, the Barstool Sports guy, finally came to Baltimore, and he went to Frank's, and I was like, oh God, he went to Frank's. I wonder if he's going to like it. Loved it. Gave it high scores, whatever. I don't know what he gave it, but it was. And I don't care what he gave it because this is where we go. Like, I don't care whether you like it or not. I'll still go back there. But he liked it. He gave it high scores. Totally forgot that he had done this review. I went there last Wednesday. Madness. It's utter madness there. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. So the first thing I did, I was like, we need to get a seat because this place is crazy. So I saw this dirty table. So I sat at the dirty table, cleaned it off. So we scored a chair. We scored a table for us. It took at least 45 minutes to get our pizza. Like, it was craziness. Like, this never like it. But I gotta say, to the credit of Frank's, they were running out of, like, soda because they just had so much volume. And we're 2 weeks past the review. So and it's still, like, crazy, right? So it'll take a good, like, 6 months to a year before it, like, settles down, if it ever settles down. I went to a place in New Jersey that was, highly reviewed. I don't know if it's because of him, but it was very highly regarded as one of the best pizzas in America. And that was also kind of crazy to go eat there. Like, you had to go there right at opening, like at 4 p.m. You had to be right there and, like, to get a table. And, like, I was there for that, but no line. If I had waited another 15 minutes, there would have been a line. But, like, to Frank's credit, and I bless them for this, they're getting pounded. They did not rush anything. Like, everything, they took their time to make it correct. Like, the staff is, like, crushed. They're getting crushed. But they did it right. Everything is done right. The crust is still beautiful. The cheesesteak is still, everything's still perfect. So Frank's Pizza, Baltimore, Overly, Bel Air Road. If you ever come out here, that's worthwhile. Mom says that Bojangles are the best, especially their fries. Oh, Bojangles. Yeah, the fries were good. I mean, Bojangles not bad. Like, I liked it. I thought it was good. But what I would I choose Bojangles over Popeyes? I think I would choose Popeyes over Bojangles. Emma says, everything but common sense. The news lately has been outrageous, especially if your family is really from elsewhere. Booster says Bojangles had a location in Bowie, but it closed down last. Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. Peter wants to know, are we deporting people? Yeah. America is always deporting people. And some of my friends, right, who are not white, like I'm not white, right? So my friends who are not white, they're very much supporters of the guy that's in Washington, D.C. right now. In case you may have been wondering or may have not guessed this, I am not a supporter of that. And it comes down to very simple metrics, right? So if you're not from the United States, this is a country that has a history of racism. Institutional, by law, by societal expectation. Everything is like, this is a country that is guided by racism in all ways. Like, it doesn't seem like it, but it totally is. Like, for example, right now in Baltimore, we have a situation where the Baltimore Ravens kicker, a guy named Justin Tucker, wildly successful in his career. Like, the guy is like, until this past year, like, if he was going to make a field goal kick, like, you could almost, you were 99.9997% assured that he was going to make it. Now it's dropped down to like 95%, right? Like, he's kind of like had some troubles this year. Well, he has been accused by like now 8 different massage therapists of exposing his genitalia and expecting a happy ending. And now he's going to these, evidently these are all like nice quality spas. Like, these are like suburban nice spas where, you know, like legit spas, right? There are massage places in America and worldwide that you can go to where you expect the happy ending. And that would be part of the service. Why a guy doesn't go to those places is beyond me. Like, maybe football athletes get a whole different level of service. Probably. I don't know. I'm not a football athlete. I'm not famous. I don't get that kind of treatment. So I would have to go to a regular old dirty rub and tug kind of joint, right? So he goes to these places, you know, disrobes, whips around, you know, whips it out, and is like, you know, and so in legitimate shops, they're not going to put up with that. So they're like, evidently he's been banned, he's been kicked out. And, you know, because he's famous in Baltimore, like, people are scared. And so finally, the Baltimore Banner did this big article on it that exposed this. And I have a post on my Facebook page where I was kind of like, you know, that basically like, well, I think that from my perspective, if this was truly a fair and just world, the Baltimore Ravens have already boxed themselves in with this issue. They don't really, to my mind, they really don't have a choice. I mean, of course they do. And of course I don't think they'll go to the extreme of eliminating Tucker because he's a favored citizen. But rewind 10 years ago, we had a running back. I don't really remember the position. I don't know the position that well, but you know, I love the Ravens and I followed them, especially back in the era that I'm talking about. I was a rabid fan, but I don't know anything about football. I don't really care. I just like enjoy the team. But we had a player, Ray Rice. He was caught on camera beating his wife or his then fiance. Like, she did something, like she spit on him or did something to piss him off, and he turned around and he clocked her on this elevator in Atlantic City. It's on video. I mean, clocked her, right? But she's like okay with it. They got married and they've been fine, and there's never been any issues since that time. Well, once that came to light, the Ravens dismissed him, kicked him out of the organization. Which, okay, I get that. Like, that's, you know. Now, this is the era when this guy was at the zenith of his career. He's at the zenith. Like, this guy, during the year that we went to the Super Bowl, they had mucked things up, and suddenly we're like 29 yards from the first goal against the San Diego Chargers. And it's like 3rd down or 4th down. It's like the last, there's no hope. It's all, you're done. Like, it's done. This guy, Ray Rice, somehow pulled out this run that got the first down. Like, if you look it up online, it's unbelievable, the play that these guys made. It's like, wow, this guy is like amazing. He's amazing. They cut him right away. They dismissed him straight out. Not even thought. They were like, you hit your wife, you're on the news, you're done. You're out of here. Go. No mercy. So in my opinion, you know, this guy cut this guy, and now it's not just one person. It's not one time. Like Ray Rice hit his fiance once, which is very bad. Don't get me wrong, but this guy evidently, you know, there were like 6 massage therapists that came out to say this, and now there's more coming out to say that he's also been doing this. I don't think they're going to fire him, and the reason I don't think they're going to fire him because Justin Tucker's white. Ray Rice was black. You don't get the same consideration. This is America. This is just how it is, right? And so, are they deporting people? Yeah, they're deporting people. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We have a guy in the White House that is just out of touch with reality. And like I said, I break it down in simple terms, right? So my friends who are not white, they're Filipino like me. We grew up together. These are guys that I've known many, many years. Like, I tell them very simply, I said, you know, to me, it's a simple question here in America because everything is race-based. Which is the candidate in this election that a member of the Ku Klux Klan would be more than happy to vote for? And it's not going to be the black woman, right? Like, that candidate has, like, not only is she liberal, but she's a woman, and she's like black and Indian, like already there. Like, no Klansman, no respecting member of the Ku Klux Klan would ever vote for that woman. My friends, man, they are like, they get upset when I tell them. They're like, I said, hey man, there's not a Klansman in America that would be unhappy with your vote. And they're, it's not, and they already know the deal. They can't really argue it. They're not going to argue with me because they know that I won't listen to them, first of all. So, you know, yeah, like you say, like Emma says, the news lately has been outrageous, especially if you're family. Yeah, I mean, it's really, and you know, while there has always been deportations, there's always been a level of distaste for especially Latino immigrants to America. The problem with the current administration is that they encourage that kind of xenophobia. They encourage that kind of hate. They encourage that kind of, not even, I wouldn't even say it's paranoid. They hate. It's just, they encourage that. Like, you know, when you're growing up and your like parents are like, hey, you know, you need to like keep that to yourself. That's not part of it. That's not part of it. And the prejudice is so ingrained in America. Like, I remember, like, I might have said this before, but like, I remember my very first trip to Uganda. I'm in Kampala. I'm there as a guest of the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. And by this point, I'd already known a lot of the members of the, from the UCDA for a little while, for at least a couple of years. Ugandans, they're black, right? Nice people. I read about the country, safe country overall. You know, the society is relatively calm, no problems. And I'm like, I'm leaving the hood. I'm like, I'm going to walk around and go check out the scene. So I'm in this nice hotel. The place, they put me at a place called the Serena Hotel in Kampala. Probably one of the most gorgeous places I've ever stayed in my life. Like super, like the truly highest end. Probably one of the best hotels on the continent of Africa. But I walk out of the hotel into the street, and suddenly I'm hit with like alert. I'm on alert mode. Like, I'm tense, I'm alert, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Why am I, what's going on here, right? And then I realize I have walked outside, and everywhere that I turn, I'm surrounded by black people. Of course I am. I'm in Africa, for God's sake. Everybody's black there, right? Everyone's African. Everyone's Ugandan, but they're all black. And it hit me at that moment that, holy God, I am so programmed by American thinking that if I see a black person, I must be in danger. And I have to fight that that perception. I had to fight that ingrained prejudice because everything in America teaches us that. Like, and I was telling this years ago. I remember I think about how difficult. Like, I'm Asian, so we have our issues, whatever here, but we're in a better position than if you're black. I think about the young man that's black in America. Could be from a good family, good schools, educated, smart, intelligent, well-spoken, all of those things, well-dressed. No matter what, that guy walks somewhere where there's white people or non-black people, and suddenly you see it. They have this tenseness, this apprehension to them. This guy is no threat to them. This guy is no different than that jerk off that I went to school that with wearing the cap and the loose pants at prep school, but he's white. No, actually that guy's probably more a jerk off than this guy. But I wondered, many years ago, I started wondering, like, what is it like to grow up in a world where everybody who sees you is suddenly in fear? How does that affect your psyche? How does it affect the way you see the world? And it can't be good. And I don't understand why a lot of people in America just don't think like this. They just, I don't know. I don't have answers. I'm just like, the older I get, the more shocked I am at like how myopic we are. I don't know if it's like this in the rest of the world. I only live in America, right? I only grew up here, so. And it's still the same. Like when I started going to the Middle East, spending time in like Dubai, Saudi Arabia, same thing. You get these feel like, again, more of this programming that I have to overcome. It's like, I'm in the middle of Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of Arabs there, right? Suddenly I'm like, oh, terrorists. They're not all terrorists. God's sake, you fucking idiot. So I don't know. We have to do better. Oh, Booster says one just opened in Frederick. Nice. Anton says I ordered to wear a torque screwdriver so I can more precisely tighten grinder screws. Excellent choice. Jeremiah's asking thoughts of the Time War Black Mirror Duo have used. Unfortunately, I have not used. The only Time War that I've used is the B75, so I don't really have experience. Maybe one of the other guys here has used it, can probably give better insight. I just don't have any personal experience to offer. Anton says, we're talking about the Time War scales. I heard there might have been some problems with precision. I think the ones without problems were the nano. Okay. But I don't remember that clearly. Emo says, yeah, we've got everything but a plan. Same playbook prior to COVID-19. American Opium War strategy, just like the British. We don't. Our plan is so... It's designed to make a certain segment of the mindset happy. And I kind of think of that mindset as those who like listen to a lot of news propaganda. And I know a lot of people like that. And to be honest with you, I don't watch the news. Whether you consider news to be liberal or conservative, I don't watch most of any. I'm always trying to find news in alternative. Like I like to read international or review international news sources because I think they tend to have a little bit more even perspective that's not colored by the tone in America. Jeremiah says, oh, thank you. Maku says, I will also choose Popeyes over Bojangles. Don't tell anyone in Charlotte. I won't. Don't worry. Ray Rice's wife, aunt, lives in my building. Oh, wow. That's so interesting. Booster says he's a clown. Yeah. Anthony, yeah, no doubt. I don't get it. Peter loves our president. Oh, God. I got to say, like, I don't think that this guy is there. It takes a long, to my mind, this is a long journey for us to have reached this point. Throughout the 90s, as I was growing up, or, as I was coming of age and getting older, I've always, my big contention has always been like, I hate the party system, right? Because one of the things that was always preached, whether you were conservative or liberal, was that they always preach party loyalty. loyalty to party, and I'm not a party loyal. I'm not a company man. Like, I'm very bad at being a company man. My thing is like nation. Like, we are a nation. This is America, right? If anything, I am for America. I'm not for Republicans. I'm not for Democrats. I'm not for party. I don't have loyalty to party. I have loyalty to nation. But we've been preaching party loyalty for a long time. My entire lifetime. That's what they've been preaching. So you have people that are like being pushed slowly, generationally, side to side, to choose a side. Why are you choosing a side? Like, I see that politicians on both sides don't really give a damn about the people. Like, they say they do, they just don't. They just don't. If they gave a damn about the people, we would have the best education, the best healthcare in the world. And no matter what people say, we have the best in the world, we don't. Like, one of the things that I can't believe that people don't see from the COVID pandemic is that when COVID was here, the government readily rolled out vaccinations for everyone. People complain like, oh, we don't need that or whatever. But if you wanted it, you needed it, you got it. No problem. Testing, vaccinations, you got it all. Why is our healthcare not like that? Why are we not providing for our people like that? Why are we not caring for our people? To me, that's really, and I don't know why people don't see that. They're like, oh, whatever. But I don't think that we would have this president today had the opposing party not been so myopic, right? They are equal contributors to the situation we are today. And I know a lot of liberal friends of mine really hate me for this, right? Because especially back then, they were like, they had a candidate, a woman candidate, and their big thing with that woman candidate was that, she's the most qualified. Okay, well, great. Qualifications are important. But really, she was there because she expected to be next in line. She expected to be crowned. She had already lost that crown to the black president. Like, he knocked her out of the way. And so when it came time to run again, nobody stood in the way because this was her time. This is her. She was to be crowned next. Then you have this other guy come in, this cheesy doodle guy, who's a celebrity on television, flying helicopters around the world, speaking, grandiosely against fuddy-duddy policy wonk. Of course he's going to win. Whereas the person that they could have run, who's the old grandpa, or more like the old weird uncle, who actually had policies, intentions that were for the people, well, he just wasn't a team. He just wasn't like, he wasn't next in line. So they pushed him out of the way. So who are you going to choose? Policy wonk or this kind of celebrity dude? I get it. I wouldn't have chosen him, but I would have chosen the other candidate as well. And then now, we have this whole time, and then now there's this guy that this guy obviously mucked things up enough during his first term that nobody wanted him again. So old granddad comes in, who said he didn't want to run in the past, but now he suddenly wants to run, and he comes in, and he's just all right. He's just kind of a placeholder. He didn't really do too much. He didn't do anything bad. He didn't do anything great. Just kind of kept things going. And then now we have then his vice president decides, I want to run, and I'm gonna continue. It's always continue. I'm like, not, where's the vibrance? Where's the interest? And I see, and the one thing about being the incumbent is that, the person that's trying to take your job can bash on you and say all these things. And so that's exactly what that guy did and was able to win. So it's like, why don't you guys do something more? Like, nobody really wants to be inspirational, at least on the liberal side, it seems like. It's just like, I don't know. I told a guy, a very high-level guy, that I knew for a fact that America participated in the funding and research of COVID-19 via site moderation in China. I've been working. I mean, we would. It's always to our interest as a national defense. It's always to our interest to be involved in research for diseases and whatever. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Jeremiah says, salute for your presence of mind. And oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I very appreciate that. Anton says, in Germany, if you turn on a TV, you will feel in real time how brain cell. Yeah, if you watch, it's not that different in America. Like, I get a lot of, I mean, I see a lot of people talking about like Fox News here in America. They talk about Newsmax. Oh, and these are all like conservative things. And I just think, and I see some of the headlines that they talk about, like, what are these people? Who are these people? Nobody ever seems to have had critical thought, or if they took critical thought in school, they seem to have forgotten it. Now, I'm not saying the liberal side is any better, right? I see like some liberal media outlets that I'm just like, what are they? I'm just like, God, I can't even listen to, I won't even listen to them. I won't listen to them. It's ridiculous. Ken says, one of my favorite books of all time is called We Who Used to Love America, published in 1970. Oh. And Peter says, we're getting, yeah, I mean, there's a level of, I think politicians and political groups and like to push xenophobia. They like to push fear. I don't like to push fear. I like to push acceptance. I like to push openness. That's really my interest. Like that's my whole. That's why I will go anywhere in the world and I will go and try anything, because it's like we have to break through our misperceptions, and I get it from all kinds of people. Like here in America, like I'll talk about going to the Middle East, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's so scary." It's like, it's not scary. It's very easy. It's very simple. The people there are super wonderful. And one thing that I found across the world is that whether I'm in the Middle East or whether they're like these immigrants that are crossing the border, or whether there's some like hick in Alabama, for the most part, people just want to provide for their families. They just want their children to have a good future. That's the one thing we share as a people on this planet. Why we allow these people with agendas to muck with that, I don't understand. Like, that's what I always try to remember, is that these are people that just want to provide for their children. That's all we can, that's the best we want. That's the best we can hope for. And so, it bothers me a lot, because like, my friends here, like these are friends that I grew up with, and they're all like, they'll ask me, we'll talk about going to the Middle East, and they're like, oh, they have these, they won't accept the fact that it's not what they see on the news. They won't accept the fact that it's not the stereotype. It's like, dude, these are people. I remember one time I was flying to LA from Houston, and we're flying along like Arizona, New Mexico, and I was sitting on the left side of the plane. I'm looking out the window, and you could see where the border is. You couldn't see the actual line, of course, but it's basically this plot of this area of land that is the frontera of the United States, right? And it's all like sandy desert and just harsh and just brutal looking. And I looked down there and I was thinking, you know what, man? If these people are in whatever situation they are, and they're willing to cross that, to put their lives at risk to come be in America, well then, fuck, that's the person I want to be here. Like, let them stay here, because gosh, they're going to contribute. They're risking their lives. And I know people that have died. Like, I have this one guy that I know from El Salvador. He loves Ronald Reagan, by the way, because he was part of the Contras, and Ronald Reagan supported them, and he learned how to fight. Like, he was a war fighter. He was a guerrilla fighting in the Contra War. Then he works in kitchens here, up here. And like, I've known him for many years. Wonderful man. Little short dude. And I'm like, he's from Salvador. And one time he had to go back to Salvador. No, of course he's illegal. He goes back to Salvador, and with another woman who was also working in the same industry, and they were coming back. And so you could fly home, no big deal. Get a plane and fly, no big deal. To come back, you have to cross the border. So him and this girl made their way back from San Salvador all the way through Guatemala, into Mexico, across Mexico, and to make the crossing in the border. Well, this girl, as she was crossing, making the crossing to America, gets ill. She dies. He carries her body for 2 days. I'm like, fuck, man, if you're willing to die to come here, we have people that live here that are not willing to die for this country. These people are willing to die to come here. I have no problem with them coming here. Emo says, agreed. One of my favorites is Atlas of Extinct Countries by Gideon Defoe. I mean, at one point, we will become an extinct country. Just kind of the thing goes. It goes both ways. The whole world has a stereotypical view of the U.S. too. I mean, and I don't think that, a lot of it is wrong. Like, the problem with America is that we don't know how to comport ourselves. And I think maybe because we're kind of isolated in the world, like there's no concept of language here, right? Like when you live in other parts of the world that are like Asia, more mainland Asia, and then like Europe, Africa, there's more mixing of different cultures and different peoples, different languages. Here, there's just English, and then there's those people over there that speak Spanish. We don't pay attention to them, right? Yeah, I don't know. We and then when our Americans go abroad, whether they're in the military or whether they're tourists, I mean, they tend to behave poorly. Like, I'll tell you, when I go traveling, like I don't typically go to places where Americans are because I'm like, God, that's the last thing I want. So I don't know. That's a lot of heavy topic today for just coffee. Anyway, so we had our coffee. Very nice. I mean, this is too sweet, but the other stuff, fabulous. But now I must go back to work. So as always, good to hang out with you. Wonder how many viewers are now going to be like, well, I'm not subscribing to that guy. That liberal, like, funky guy. Well, good to see you. Thank you very much for hanging out again. Always a pleasure. Always it's my honor for you to be here. I really appreciate that. So, yeah, have a great evening or have a great day, wherever you are. And be back again tomorrow. See you then.